When constructing my front cover, I decided to place my masthead at the top left-hand corner of the page. This compares to the pre-existing magazine cover, so I've also put the masthead at the top of the page. In my opinion, I think that it is important to have the masthead at the top because it would be one of the first things a reader sees. It's also important because if they wanted to get the magazine and if they liked it, they'd be able to get another one by knowing what the masthead is. This links into branding. I also stuck to my draft because I placed the masthead in the same place. I decided to use cover lines in my magazine because they're key things which are important when making a magazine. They've been placed all around the front cover. This is because it makes the magazine look more interesting. It follows the codes and conventions of a magazine because the pre-existing magazine also had their cover lines spread across the page. This means that I followed my draft because I didn't change anything. My main cover line has been put in a much larger font than any of the cover lines. Additionally, it has a white stroke to make it stand out from the page. I also changed the typography of the main cover line compared to the cover lines to show the reader that there is something important. Similarly, the pre-existing magazine also had their main cover line in a large font and towards the centre of the page. This means that I stuck with the codes and conventions of a magazine and also followed my draft. The house style for this magazine are the colours red, yellow and white. By having a colour scheme for the magazine, it gives the magazine a more professional look and makes it stand out. The pre-existing magazine has also got a colour scheme but it includes the colours pink, purple and white. This shows I followed the codes and conventions for a stereotypical pop magazine. However, it changes from the draft I drew because originally I included orange instead of yellow. However, when it came to constructing the magazine, I decided that yellow would make it stand out more. For my main image, I have chosen to take a medium close-up of the model. This enables the reader to see who they are. The picture is also direct address because the model is looking directly into the camera so that she can engage with the audience. I decided to remove the background to white so that it fits in with my house style and also gives the magazine a more professional look. In comparison to the pre-existing cover, they have decided to have a mid-shot of their model, which enables the reader to see what they are wearing. Also, as like my magazine, the pre-existing magazine has made the image direct address. I have further used codes and conventions because I've included a barcode. This also is shown in the pre-existing magazine in the same place as mine, which shows it makes the magazine look more professional. I think that a barcode is essential because it gives an idea about how much stock there is, and it also shows that I stuck to my original draft. I did not challenge the codes and conventions of the magazine because I included a date and price in the bottom right hand corner of the page. This is similar to the pre-existing magazine because I have also included it in the same place as I have. This shows that I followed the codes and conventions. I included a top strip as it is a good magazine technique to use. This is because it informs the reader of what information will be included in the magazine. Therefore, I stuck to my draft. Additionally, the pre-existing magazine included a top strip too. This shows that I'm following the codes and conventions of a stereotypical pop magazine. However, I included more information on what is in my magazine. The masthead has been included in both my magazine and the pre-existing magazine, which portrays that I followed the codes and conventions. I did this because it is to do with branding and shows the reader which magazine the contents page has come from. On the contents page, I've included a page number. This is because it follows the codes and conventions of a magazine, and it also allows the reader to navigate through the magazine. The pre-existing magazine has also done this, and it has placed it in the same place as me. Therefore, this is something professional magazines do to engage the reader. I've included pillars in my contents page to split the magazine into sections. I think that this would benefit the reader because if they were only interested in certain sections, they could go straight to that part. This is where I challenged the codes and conventions of a magazine because the pre-existing magazine did not include any editorial pillars. However, I did. I also stuck with my draft. I believe that social media is an important feature to include in a magazine because it allows the audience to get more information. Also, if the audience enjoyed the magazine, they could go onto their social media sites and get more information. In comparison to the pre-existing magazine, they also included the website for the magazine company. This shows that it's a professional thing in magazines. An editorial has been used in both the pre-existing pop magazine and my magazine, which shows that it's something conventional that magazines use. I believe that an editorial is an important thing to include on the contents page because it allows the reader to get on a personal level with the editor. Furthermore, by having the typography in a handwritten font, it makes the magazine more professional. I anchored my images on the contents page to the certain articles in the magazine by putting page numbers next to them. This is because if the reader recognised one of the images and they wanted to read something about them, the page number would be right next to the image so that they can go straight to that page. The pre-existing magazine has also included this in their magazine, but they included it in the first column of their wall of thirds, but mine filled the last two columns. The image I have used is a picture of a pop band. I've included 2 boys and 2 girls because many pop bands have mixed gender groups. This is similar to the pre-existing magazine because their main image is also a group. Another image I've used is an image of Sam and he's pointing directly at the camera, which shows I've used direct address. I included 3 images on my contents page, however the pre-existing magazine had many more. This shows that I challenged the codes and conventions, and I also changed my design from the draft because I originally had 4 photos. Columns have been included because it gives the magazine a more of a professional look. Columns condense the information and also makes it easier for the readers to read, especially because the target audience is teenagers. The pre-existing magazine has also included columns and have done it in a similar layout to me, which indicates that it's something that stereotypical pop magazines include. For the double page spread I only included 1 image. This changed from my draft because originally I was going to include 2 images of the artist, but I changed my mind. I made 1 whole page of the picture of the artist so that the focus was on her and the reader can immediately see what the article is about. In the pre-existing magazine, they also had 1 page of the magazine of just their model, however they also had another image on their left-hand side. A headline has been included in both my magazine and the pre-existing magazine, which shows that I followed the codes and conventions. However, the difference is that I have included my headline in the middle row and in the centre so that the reader can immediately see what the article is going to be about. However, in the Wheel of Pop magazine, they have included it at the top left-hand corner. Both pop magazines have used a question and answer article rather than a free-flowing one. This allows the reader to read the article easily due to the target audience being quite young. Both my magazine and the pre-existing one have put it in the same layout, showing I followed codes and conventions. Additionally, we made the question a different colour to the answer to show the difference between them. In my magazine, I have included a caption at the top left-hand corner of the page. This is because it lets the reader know what is happening in the image. However, in the pre-existing magazine, they did not include a caption. However, from the previous research tests, I found out that a caption was a technique which most conventional pop magazines used. I included a drop cap in my article because it shows the reader where it begins. This differs from the draft because I did not include a drop cap. However, I believe now that it is essential. This is similar to the pre-existing magazine because I have also included a drop cap. I decided to include a grab quote because it is a good technique to pull in the reader and persuade them to read the article. I have put in the middle of the column to separate the text and put it in a different typography, which makes it seem more interesting. The pre-existing magazine has also included a grab quote, however they laid it out in a different way and had it all in a line. I decided to include a byline because it shows the reader who actually wrote the article. Additionally, if the audience really liked the article which was written, they can research the author's name and find out more of their articles. This differs from the pre-existing magazine because I didn't include a byline showing that I challenged the codes and conventions. This is something that changed from my draft. This is because previously I did not include a byline. However, after I thought that it was an important media technique to use.